We're going to be starting with the, first of all, we're going to start with the profit roll. So once the batter is done, we're going to be putting this to bake. But for this particular recipe, I'm adding a crackling base. Now crackling base is not really required. If you want to add, you can add. If you don't want to add, you can just let it be. You can make it without the crackling base as well. It depends on exactly how you would like to proceed. Now, given that fact, what would be really interesting is if you are doing this product, especially if you are doing this product at home, that you do it with the crackling, because the crackling will allow it to fall very gently, and it will have a very uniform crust on top. The uniformity of the crust is very important. Also, it bakes very well when it has a nice crust on top. Now the same recipe, it's called pata choux or choux paste, because choux in French is cabbage. So it resembles a cabbage. So that's why the name. So if you're making this at home, there are many ways to go about doing this as well. Very simple, basic system to doing this is whenever you make this product at home, ensure that your filling is done in advance. Ensure that your product is baked, and you can literally keep this product for up to a month in the freezer. If you're reserving just the choux buns or the profit rolls, you can reserve it for up to a month in the freezer. There's no problem. Like, we maintain a stock of our choux buns when we get orders. We maintain a stock in advance so that we can keep it for for a good amount of time. That being said, I'm not going to delay. Let's get going on this. So I'll just like to explain what I'm doing here. So basically what I've got here is I've got water and the butter. Water and the butter. If you are interested in not using butter, you can use, instead of butter, you can even use Neutralite. That also works very well in this recipe. So you just heat the butter and the water. This is basically always going to be the medium heat. It's not going to be a very intense heat. It's always going to be medium heat. If you're doing this on a gas range, I would advise you to have a medium flame or a low flame, because the gas is very fierce. We use only the inductions in our kitchen, so it's just mixing the butter and the water up. Let it come to a nice boil. Now in this, you can see this has come to a boil. When the water and the butter comes to a boil like that, take soda, salt and sugar. Always use a wooden spatula, a nice wooden spatula, because you need a product that has got some power. If you use a flimsy one, it might just snap and break. So you need a product that is really... So basically making something known as a panada. So you make this panada here. Now this looks easy, but it takes a little bit of an effort, a lot of muscle power to get this done this way. The cool part of using induction is I can keep my hand here. So using a gas, you'll have to probably use a duster or something to hold this. No real anti-clockwise, clockwise, none of that. A little bit of heat. When you see at the bottom, it forms like this whitish kind of a pan here, like whitish kind of a layer here. This is done. Once it's done, now traditionally, if you do the machine with the paddle attachment. So I'm using the machine with the paddle attachment and a clean bowl. So just lock your bowl in place, make sure it doesn't move. You can add all of this batter into that. Now for those of you who want to make this a savory product, the sugar I've added, you can half the sugar that I've added. The sugar is mostly there for a little bit of a browning. You can half the sugar that is added and just omit the vanilla essence. That's going to give you a nice, very nice eggy flavor, and you can combine that with a variety of products like, for example, so I'm going to let this start on a slow pace. So you're mimicking your hand action, right? So your hand doesn't go that fast. So you got to mimic your hand action here as well. Slow speed and just keep mixing. You see all the vapors coming out. This vapor has to all be released. Once the vapor is released and it's gone, then you know the product is getting nice and cold. Now after it gets cold, I'm going to add the eggs. So the reason I don't add the eggs immediately is because if I add the eggs now, how is Nairobi? Is it cold at this time of the year? So winter. We're basically going to make the next part of the recipe, and that's going to be butter and sugar. Just cream this slightly. Then we add in the flour. In fact, what you want to do is you want to make a paste. So making a paste of the crackler is quite simple. How much you want. I would advise you to go dark on the color because in the baking process this is going to get lighter and lighter. So going dark on the color makes more sense. If you want to achieve a little bit of a very dark, intense color, then adding a pinch of cocoa powder at this stage also makes sense. So mix up the ingredients. So the crackling paste is ready. Take off excess from the spatula on waste. Keep this between two sheets of butter paper like that in order to make a nice thin slab. People ask me why do I use castor sugar in this particular recipe? Some recipes say use powdered sugar. I prefer castor sugar because castor sugar has this natural crackle to it. So just a personal preference, but in this particular recipe it's always better to use castor sugar. Just sheet this out. So a bit of multitasking for today's recipe is required. I'm sure all the homemakers out there are much better than me in multitasking. Just gently whisk up, or you can just leave them that way. Just break the egg yolks a little bit. At the same speed, I'm not increasing the speed at all. Now in this mix I've already added vanilla essence, so I don't need to add any more. But in case vanilla essence you feel that the egg smell is still there after adding everything and you still want to add some more, you can add about 4-5 ml more, that's not a problem. egg also has a very different absorption system in this. So if you add the eggs, obviously if you got the recipe, then the recipe is there. But if not, you can just check how we're doing this here. So once you've added all the egg, or as much egg is required, you just want to drop this and see. If it's dropping off the bat like that, that's enough moisture in it. You don't need any additional moisture in this. It's dropping off the bat. You don't need any additional moisture. You're going to put this into bake. Of the machine will also give it another mix. There's one irritating fly hovering around us. Get rid of everything that's around you. I'm going to put this into the piping bag. Now the piping bag has what is a large nozzle, a large star nozzle, or you can just use a plain nozzle. What you need to do is just put all of this batter inside that. So in piping them, you drop them, stop, pull it up, and then go down. You can either do that, or you can just pipe them and turn them this way. Whichever way you choose, it's up to you. Make sure you have at least, when you pipe these, you have at least one thumb distance from the tip of the nozzle and the mat. So there is some gap where you can pipe it. If you pipe it like that, then what's going to happen is it's going to have a little bit of a well in the center or a cavity in the center, and that's not going to be very good for the product in the end run. So it's going to, it's not going to rise up very well. This is going to have enough of matter to rise up. This is the effective way to pipe. Little bit of speed. Oops. Fire. After you've cut about 10 of them, just paste them on top of that. You have to be a little quick because this product is again just butter, so it's going to melt. So the quicker you are, the safer it is for the crackling. Once the shoe buns are baked, take them out, allow them to cool on the rack, Ensure that there's no crackling sound when you place them next to your ear. They should not crackle. After they are cool, you can carry them to the AC section, leave it out to cool again. Only once it's completely cold can you start to work with them and fill them. So one of the products that I had made, I had flattened it by mistake. So you see how flat this has become. This is a piping problem. Same batter, when you pipe it in a slightly moundish shape, you get a nice, very nice product like that, which you can literally break and you'll see a nice cavity. Superb cavity like that, fully clear cavity. So you can just cut it like this. Cavity inside. Cavity inside like that. This one you can cut it this way as well. Cutting this, use serrated knife. Or you can just cut it like this. Just snip it like that, put it inside like this, take it out. X mark the spot. To fill, you just simply snip that off. You start, expose the tip like this. Expose the tip. You can pipe it like that as well. I prefer to expose it completely. One of the habits that as a chef I have is to keep a duster next to me so that I can just clean my hands occasionally in the cutting. If there's any debris, I just want to clean them up. And you'll get, when you pipe them, make sure you pipe them gently and evenly. So that's very important. And tada, that's done. Yummy. Isn't that a pleasant sight? I'm just going to cut them now and you can check that out. Totally full and really well done.